Don't make me do that whole thing from the morning again. The joke's not funny if I do it for the 87th time. What's the first one? I walked around. I saw a lot of your work. I told you it was right. Some person that heard me say you did that right can say the answer now. Damon. That is exactly half right. Why could Damon have gone further? Square root, square root. Square root, square root. X plus 1, x minus 1, x plus 4, x minus 4. All fit into that space. So, if you stopped at the highlighted line, you give yourself a half a mark. Because you got to finish, right? If you're running the marathon, you don't get to say you finished the marathon if you stop at 13 miles. What's next? X plus 10. X minus 3. Yep. What's next? Hey, Harv. What's the answer to 3? I'm letting you off the hook here, man. I'm asking you a question from the first 3. I gave you 30 minutes to do it. 10?
10.
X minus
1.
Well done, Harv and support crew.
Thank you.
Well done. You know, when you win your Oscar, Harvey, you should make sure to thank all the people that supported you and got you there.
Thank you too.
Yeah. 4. He waited patiently. 6 minus 2. 5. What's got to come out first? X has to come out, and then that leaves you with x squared plus 8x plus 16. Some of you are going to have stopped there, but of course you will continue to do x plus 4 and x plus 4. Some of you will go even further and write it as x plus 4 squared. Both the blue and the green would be perfectly acceptable. I do not care which. Some of your math teachers will say they want the blue one because it shows all the factors. Some of your math teachers will say they want the green one because it looks simpler, tidier, and more elegant. This math teacher doesn't care as long as you get the answer. Okay? Okay. Hey, Rajan, what's number 6? X. Oh, so close. Plus 7 and minus 11. There you go. How many people got a free Slurpee yesterday? Only one of you? Yesterday was 7-Eleven day. It's free Slurpees all day. It's been free Slurpees on July 7th or July 11th forever. Okay. Will you be in summer school again? Do I need to remind you? Hopefully we won't be in the same class. Oh, I see what you're saying.
What do you mean? I'm saying that could be.
But that isn't what you said. You said hopefully we won't be in the same class. Oh, well, that's allowed. But I doubt it because I usually teach grade 10. One year I did teach a kid in summer school, and then he went back to class, and then he was in my summer school class the next year, still in grade 10. First time he took it, he got a C. Second time he took it with me, got a C. It's like, dude, how can you not get better? So you at least third try at this. All right, 7. x minus 3, x minus 5. Oh, number 4. What's got to come out? Or number 8, what's got to come out? 4. X squared minus x minus 12 plus 3 x minus 4. 9. 9's tricky because everybody wants to use 4 and 6. It's 12 and 2. X plus 12, x minus 2. Number 10, what's got to come out? 5xy squared, which leaves me with x squared plus 2xy minus 24y squared. Then, of course, you finish it off because it is x plus 4y, x plus 6y, and x minus 4y. 11. That's negative, so it must be plus and minus. See how far you can get before you actually have to know any math? What is it, Rajan? Plus 5 minus 6. Look at you. You're on fire, brother. 12. What's coming out? 3x. What's staying in? 3 plus 4y. What's coming out? 5. What's staying in? And then how do I finish it off? Is this allowed? Is that allowed? Yes. Is this allowed? No. Be careful. What's coming out here? Y. X squared plus 8x plus 7. Y. X plus 7. X plus 1. X plus 6. X minus 9. And now we get to the actual difficult ones. Now, once again, I remind you, you are going to be very, very tempted to distribute, collect like terms, and try to factor. Do not fall into that trap. Don't do it. Remember that brackets make these things a single unit. And if I wrote this as 2x plus 3xy, you would take that x out to the front, wouldn't you? So, because these are the same thing, they're the greatest common factor. So you would divide by x plus 3, just like when we were doing greatest common factor. Then you write your answer. Greatest common factor first. Then the answers. Cancel, cancel. 2. Cancel, cancel. Negative 3y. Done. What's 17? Now that you've seen how to do 16, what is the answer to 17? 6x plus 4. How many people stopped there? Be honest. I hope some people went a little further because, of course, what do you see there? Not square roots. You see 6 and 2? You mean 2. 2 goes into both of these. So you would divide that by 2 and bring a 2 to the front. 3x plus 2, 2x minus 1. And that would get you the full marks available. Does everybody understand what happened here? Spokesperson Harvey Brar, everyone. Speaking for everyone. For Europe here? Okay. No, you're not. They're Asia over there. No. No. And if you were Pakistan, you were that close to India, you'd already be fighting. You would be fighting over Kashmir. I know my history. India is a subcontinent that is sliding northward into Asia, causing the fold mountains of the Himalayas to pop up. On the northeast of India lies Bangladesh and Burma. On the northwest of India lies Pakistan. Directly to the north of India lies Nepal and China, because China surrounds Nepal like a warm hug. But it's not a warm hug, because nowhere that China goes is a warm hug. What? Of course I know my geography. And Pakistan and India are fighting over the area known as Kashmir. They have been forever. They've almost had nuclear war over it.
No, that's a lie. He said forever. At one point they were the same country. So you can't, two countries can't fight if they're the same country.
Ever since India became its own country and Pakistan became its own country, they have been fighting over the area known as Kashmir. More importantly, Led Zeppelin has a great song called Kashmir, which is spectacular. And if you don't know what it is, I feel sorry for you, because you're less of a person than me. It's okay, man. You can make yourself be as great by listening to Led Zeppelin.
I'll let you take this victory.
I already won. I will accept you accepting your defeat. Huh? Australia does not support the delegation from India back there?
We can go to war if you want.
No. All right. What's weird about 18? Is there a GCF? Yes, no, or almost? Almost. Because this has a positive x and a negative 1. This has a positive 1 and a negative x. What can I do to the green one to change it? I can divide by negative 1, which means what comes out of there? Negative 1. What does negative 1 do to anything that's in front of the brackets? It makes it negative. So my expression becomes 3x minus 1. Negative 1 times x is negative x. And of course, positive 1 divided by negative 1 is negative 1. And negative x divided by negative 1 is positive x. Now I have two common factors, which means I divide by x minus 1, it goes to the front, and I'm left with cancel, 3, cancel, minus x. And I'm done. Everybody good? I am getting a vibe from the class as I walked around doing this, considering how much help I had to give out, that it might not be the best assignment mark to take from you.
I say we just read the quiz.
No. I'm not saying anything about not doing the quiz. I'm saying maybe I don't take this particular assignment, because I did a whole lot of helping. Yeah, and your group didn't get the page done. Sorry, Australia. Throw another shrimp on the bobby. Good day, mate. You finished, Harmon? What about Rajan?
Roger kind of left us.
Yeah, Rajan ditched you. He emigrated. All right, it's out of 16. I'll get the marks later. It's out of 18. I'll get the marks later. I was just testing you. I wasn't really. That's what this meant. Are any of you members of that small subset of people that cannot wink? Who just said yes? You can't wink? You cannot close one eye. That's awesome. You're having a bit of trouble. This doesn't count, Anad. This is not winking. If you did that and you were actually trying to do something subtle, hey man, I've got the right answers. I don't think that would work very well. Is there anybody here who can wink with one eye but not the other? We know that. Navri, we covered that. You're the one that started this all. All right, please turn to page 71. And ladies and gentlemen, listen, please. This one is actually difficult. And ladies and gentlemen, listen, please. Please don't make me break you up and put you in a seating plan halfway through the year. That would piss me off. It would piss me off more than letting you sit where you are and have you work more often than not. Please pay attention to this for a couple of reasons. One, at this point in the game, this type of factoring, when the first number is not 1, there are, in my knowledge, 4 ways to solve these. And every one of you has been taught a different way. A great many of you have only been taught 1, maybe 2 ways by your teachers, and you may not get it still. I'm going to show you 4 different ways to do this, and I'm going to show you why it works. Okay? So, I actually need you to pay attention. I know it's Friday. I know it's second to last block. I know you've got your minds on other things. I'm sorry, that's just the way the timing fell, that we're doing this actual difficult thing on a Friday. But I need your attention, and I need you to work with me, because this is going to be a back and forth here, okay? Because you all already know how to do this. You've been shown it, but a bunch of you may be a little dodgy with it, because, again, I've been teaching math 20 years. This is where factoring, the wheels fall off of factoring. If the wheels are going to fall off, it is this section that screws everyone over. So please, I'm going to show you, like I said, 4 ways. Everybody cool? But let's make sure we're good with this. If I faced you with this, would you expand that or factor it? What is highlighted in yellow? Would it be something that you would expand or something that you would factor? You would expand it because it's already in factored form, right? Because you got one thing times another thing. So when I expand that, I would use what your teachers and me will call FOIL. I try not to use that term because I like to say distribution. So we're going to distribute that out, and we're going to get x squared plus 6x. And then we'd go to the second term, and we get 4x plus 24, right? Then we would collect our like terms, and we would get x squared plus 10x plus 24. Now, if I gave you what was highlighted in green, you would factor it, yes? And the way you would factor that is you would look for numbers that multiply to 24 and add to 10, right? Now, please notice, when I gave you this yellow one, all of you hopefully looked at that and said, oh, I can do that shortcut thing Myers talked about. I can add them to get the middle term. I can multiply them to get the last term, right? Now, when we were at this end of the spectrum, we just reversed that trick, didn't we? We looked for numbers that multiplied 24 and added to 10 and put them in here. everybody understand? Factoring is the reverse of distribution. Just like division is the reverse of multiplying. We are all good with that, yes? Okay. So, is this something I should highlight in yellow or green? Based on my previous example. Yellow, because this is something we would expand, yes? So let's expand it. 2 times 3. I'm going to write out the long way. 2 times 3, right? X squared. Then what? What would be my next step? Double distribution, ladies and gentlemen. What's next? Say it out loud. Thank you, Harv. Minus 2 times 2x. Then what? Oh, we're going to whisper this block. Okay, we'll do everything whispery. All right. Then what? I'm sorry. I'm gray-haired. You're not whispering loud enough. Right. It would be 1 times 3x. And then what? Oh, we're back to talking? Come on. How am I supposed to know what's going on? Then it would be 1 times negative 2, right? And it would get me 6x squared minus x minus 2. Everyone agree? All right. So this would be the green one. Yeah? Now, you know and I know that if a trinomial is going to factor, it's going to break down into 2 binomials, isn't it? So the first way to factor this is with guessing. So you know that it is going to be, this is method 1. You know it's going to look like that, right? And you know that in FOIL, the first move is this spot to this spot, yes? And you know that that move gets you the first number, correct? So if this is the thing I am trying to factor, I know that these first 2 numbers have to multiply to 6, don't they? So they could only be 3 and 2 or 6 and 1, right? Those are the only options, yes? And we know that the last move is these 2, right? And I know that that last move has to equal 2, right? My only options for 2 are 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, right? Then all I got to do is check. 3, 2, 6. That's not going to work, is it? Okay. 6, 2, 6 times 1, that works. 2 times 1 works, but that's 7 plus 2, that doesn't work. So you have to try all the combinations. You can see that it's easy to get the combination numbers, but you got to do a lot of trying to get the right answer, yes? Because I wrote 3 and 2. Okay, so there's my 3 and 2. But I put the 2 with the 2. And the 2 has to be with the 1. Everybody with me? It is all guesswork. The only thing you know is that the first 2 have to multiply to 6 and the last 2 have to multiply to 2. Everybody understand? Now, if I wrote this out in general form without numbers, it would look like this. ax squared minus plus bx plus c, right? And if you're going to do this guessy move, then you know that the black ones have to multiply to a, and the blue ones have to multiply to c. And then you're just guessing. Eventually, you do enough guessing that you figure it out, you start to see patterns, and you're able to do this quickly. But at the beginning, if you are guessing, it's a pain in the butt, isn't it? 6 was easy. It had to be 3 and 2 or 6 and 1, correct? Don't write down what I'm about to write down. What if I told you it was 12x squared plus 8x, sorry, not 8x, sorry, 11x plus 2. If you were doing guessy, the first one could be 1 and 12, or 12 and 1, or 2 and 6, or 6 and 2, or 3 and 4, or 4 and 3. You have that many combinations that you would have to check, right? And then the second one would be 2 and 1, or 1 and 2, and you'd have to check all of them. Do you see how it makes for a lot of extra work at the end, even though it starts really easy? Everybody cool?
Make sure they're inquiring.
Oh, we're inquiring. We are inquiring
You
the
did
hell
inquiring?
out of
Good.
trinomial factoring.
What a box check, hey? Sorry for interrupting. I just
No.
felt the need to check that you were inquiring.
Yes. So everybody cool with that first method? Now, how many people were taught that? Throw down some brackets and guess. No, it's cool. It's not a put down. It works. Everybody sees that it could work. It just could take time. Everybody cool? Okay. Now I want to show you method 2. I'm actually only going to show you 3 methods because the fourth method is exactly like the brackets, but you draw a box like this. And then you do crisscrosses and pluses and minuses. It's barfy. I hate it. How many of you have seen that before? Yeah, I hate that one too. Because you forget where the lines are going and you're still guessing. All right, so I'm going to show you the second method. This is the method I was taught. Okay? So we have 6x squared minus x minus 2.
Just curious how you do your trinomial.
Okay, well this is just decomposition. You're not going to see what I do till the next one. Okay. What bothers us here? Why is this not automatically something we can factor? What's changed? Because when we did this one, we could automatically factor it, right? Why? Because there's no leading coefficient. This is a 1. So we know we're just going to times 24 and add to 10, right? Okay. But what's different in number 2? There's a 6. This 1 is now 6 times bigger, correct? Everyone agrees? Okay. So when there was a 1 there, we were going to multiply to 24. But now this is 6 times bigger, right? So instead of multiplying to 2, what do you think we have to multiply to? 6 times bigger than 2, which is what? 12, right? So this is the way I was taught to do this. I got to multiply to 12. Everybody cool? Now, I know that when I do the multiplying in the middle here, that's what gets me this term, right? When I FOIL it out? Okay, so this is now the problem. I've dealt with the 6, I've dealt with the 2. This is my issue now, correct? Right? So in this version, I needed numbers that would add to 10, yeah? Well, over here, I need numbers that would add to what? What number is in the middle here? It would be 1, right? So what are the factors of 12 that will add to 1? 3 and 4, right? What kind of 3 and 4? Negative 4 and positive 3, right? So 6x squared plus 3x minus 4x minus 2. Does that part equal that part? 3 minus 4 is negative 1, isn't it? Everybody agrees? We're all cool? So this is why this method is called decomposition. We are breaking this trinomial up into smaller pieces. Everybody okay? Now, watch what happens. I'm going to use red so it's visible. What do you see there? You see 3 and 6 and x and x. There's a common factor there, isn't there? What is it? 3x. So that means I've divided by 3x, right? Well, what's 6x squared divided by 3x? 2x. What's 3x divided by 3x? 1. Agreed? Okay. What do you see over here? A common factor of what? 2. So I'm going to take a 2 out of there. So what comes to the front? 2. There's already a negative there, right? What's 4x divided by 2? 2x. And what's 2 divided by 2? 1. Right? What do you see now? There's that common factor, right? 2x plus 1. There's the rest of it. 3x minus 2. Does everybody see how that one works? Were any of you taught that move? I know there are teachers at Mowat doing that because I have a colleague here whose kid goes to Mowat who couldn't get his mind around that. Who does it? Do you do decomposition? Well, you're a Bateman anyway.
Bateman, they don't know about that.
Everybody cool? Everybody sees how it works? Please notice it uses this way we already know. There's just one small change, yeah? Everybody cool? All right. Now I'm going to show you a way I found on the internet like years ago because I couldn't get kids to understand this one. You guys are already better because you were able to figure out pulling out the greatest common factor. So this is what I do. And I'm going to use a really crazy color so you remember it's mine. It's not easy being green. 6x squared minus x minus 2. Okay. Again, starts the same way. This is 6 times bigger, right? So this has to be 6 times bigger. So I still need to multiply to 12, and I still need to add to negative 1. Right? Everybody cool? So now we keep exactly the same method as we had before. X, x. Because x times x will get my x squared, yes? And I know this has to be plus 3 minus 4, correct? Everyone agrees? Okay, now, why do I know that we were shooting for 12? What did I do to this 2 so I knew that I was looking for factors of 12? I did times 6, right? Now, in factoring, isn't it the reversal of expansion? Isn't it? Okay. And to reverse expansion means we got to reverse multiplication, don't we? So at some point we have to do some division, don't we? Have we done any division yet? No. So now we're going to get rid of that 6. We're going to divide by 6 and we're going to divide by 6. Because the only reason I knew it was 3 and 4 was because I multiplied by 6, right? Everybody with me? All right. Now, think back to grade 3. Would Mrs. Bad Crumble let you hand in that fraction? What would you have to do to it? You'd have to simplify it to what? 1 over 2. Would Mrs. Bad Crumble let you hand in that fraction? No. What would you have to do? Simplify to what? 2 over 3. Now, I'm going to do something that I never do in math class. I'm going to reverse the way I do things. I'm going to show you what to do, then I'm going to show you why it works. Everybody understand? You should all already see. There's a 2 right there, right? And a 1 right there, right? What do you see there? 2 and 1. There's a 3 right there, right? There's a 2 right there, right? What do you see there? 3 and 2. So what do I do with this denominator? Where does it go? Up to the front. Where does this denominator go? up to the front. If it happens once in math, how often does it happen? Every time. So if this works here, will it work with every trinomial? Yes. And we get 2x plus 1 and 3x minus 2. Does everybody see that we were able to get the right answer? Now, again, I never do that, right? I always show you why it works first. The reason I'm doing that here is because I just want to finish and show you what it looks like. Everybody cool? Now, don't write down what I'm about to do. When this got weird was when we were at x plus 1/2 and x plus 2/3, right? That's when it got weird, because we did that crazy thing where we just moved the stuff to the front, yeah? And you just believed me because you saw it work, right? Here's why it works. Is this a factoring or expansion situation? This is an expansion situation, yeah? So don't write this down. Let's just expand it. What's that get me? X squared. What's that get me? 2/3 x, right? What's that get me? 1/2 x, right? And what does that get me? 2/6, right? 1 times 2, 2 times 3. Everybody cool? Everyone agree? Okay. What do you see? Plus. What should I do there? Because they're both x's. I should add them. I can't because I need a common denominator, right? What is the common denominator of 2 and 3? 6. So I get x squared plus 4/6 plus 3/6. Yes? Right? Plus, those are both x's, plus 2/6. Yes? Which gets me x squared plus 7/6. Oh, there was a negative here, right? Sorry. X squared plus 1/6 plus 2/6. Yes? Everyone agree? What bothers me here? None of you are writing anything down. What bothers me? Same thing that bothers every high school kid. What is it? How do I get rid of divided by 6 divided by 6? How do you get rid of divided by 6? Multiply by 6. What's 6 times x? 6x squared. What's 6 times 1/6? Oh, this was minus. What's 6 times 1/6? Really, guys? You're in grade 10. 6 times 1/6. 6 times 1/6. 1. Thank you. What is 6 times 2/6? Plus 2. Hey! Everybody see? It is the exact same thing as if we did add to 1/6 and multiply to 2/6. Now the problem now becomes you have to decide what works for you. If you're happy with guessy checky, when you're dealing with 12 and 18, do guessy checky. I don't care. But don't complain to me if you need more time to do one question. If you're happy with decomposition, do it. That's cool. If you're happy with this one, where you get the fraction, you just slide the answers to the front, do it. That's cool. I don't care. Whatever works for you. All right? Personally, I find this to be the best because it uses the same principles as up here. The one that you're all already good at. You with me? Everybody cool? Okay, let's do one together and we'll see. Okay? This first one's really hard because the numbers are big, right? If we were going to do guessy checky, my options for 20 are 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5, 20 and 1, 10 and 2, 5 and 4. Who wants to check 6 of them? Because 10 is also 1 and 10, 10 and 1, 5 and 2, or 2 and 5. Who wants to check all those combinations? If you want to, go ahead and start right now. Because by the time you're done, halfway through checking and guessing, we will already have the right answer. So it's up to you if you want to try it. Go. Now, if you don't want to do that, do you want to do number 2 or do you want to do number 3 first? Try number 3. Okay. So the first thing I got to do is do 20 times 10. What is that? 200. So I got to multiply to 200 and add to what? 33. Is it 1 and 200? Is it 2 and 100? Is it 4 and 50? Is it 5 and 40? Is it 8 and 25? Yes. So I have B plus 25, but it's not really plus 25 because I only know it's 25 because I did what here? Multiplied by 20. So what do I have to do to this 25? I got to divide it by the 20. And then it's B plus 8. But it's not really 8 because of what? Because I multiplied by 20. So I got to get rid of that 20 now, don't I? Divide by 20. Would Mrs. Bad Crumble let you leave those fractions? So what do? What is 25 over 20? 5 over 4. That's gone. What is 8 over 20? What's 8 over 20? 2 over 5. What do I do with any leftover denominators? Where do they go? To the front. So this is 4b plus 5. And this is 5b plus 2. Man, I don't trust you, Mr. Myers. You're messing with my head. But kid, I taught you that you can always check if you're right? What's 4 times 5? 20. Hey, I needed 20b squared. What's 5 times 2? 10. Hey, I needed 10. If the ends are right, the middle's right. Everybody with me? Again, I don't care what you do. I couldn't care less. But I will warn you, if you use my method, your teacher may not ever have seen it. And they may say, I don't like that. Then you have to be strong. I do like it. It works for me, and it gets me the right answers. Okay? Now, would you like me to do number 2 with guessy checky because the numbers are smaller? Does anybody like guessy checky? And don't listen to me trying to convince you away from it. If you like it, I'll do it. Does anybody want to try number 2 with guessy checky? No one? You can be honest. I don't mind. I'm not trying to scare you off of it. Some kids can only do this with guessy checky. Do one? Okay, Rajveer, no problem. 3. What are my only options for 3? What's the only way to multiply to 3? 3 and 1, correct? What are my only options for 10? There's 4, aren't there? It could be 1 and 10. It could be 10 and 1. It could be 5 and 2. Or it could be 2 and 5, right? So let's check. If it's this first one, 3 times 1, 3. 1 times 10, 10. We're good. 3 times 10 is 30. 1 times 1 is 1. Will that get me to 13? No. So it can't be that one. All right? So this one was, I erased too much there. Okay, so this one might be 3 and 10 and 1 and 1. Well, 3 times 1 is 3, 10 times 1 is 10. 3 times 1 is 3, 10 times 1 is 10. Do 10 and 3 make 13 in any way? Do 10 and 3 make 13 in any way? They do, don't they? Okay, so it's got to be negative and this has to be negative. So these two signs have to be different, don't they? So it would be negative 3 plus 10. That's not 13. Okay, so it must be minus plus. Okay, so that's negative 10 plus 3. That's negative 7. So it can't be this one. All right, so what about 3 and 1, 3 and 5 and 1 and 2? 3 times 1 is 3, 5 times 2 is 10. 3 times 2 is 6. 5 times 1 is 5. Do 6 and 5 make 13? So it can't be that one. 3 and 2 and 1 and 5. 3 times 5 is 15. 2 times 1 is 2. Will 15 and 2 make 13? Yeah. So I need this to be the negative, so I get negative 15, and this to be positive, so I get positive 2. So I get 3x plus 2 and x minus 5. Now see how many steps that took. Sometimes you get lucky and you get it on the first try. Sometimes it's the 8th one you try. Okay? You're allowed to do it. Don't stop doing that if that's what you like to use. Okay? But I would submit to the rest of you that we can get this a lot quicker with no guessing if you do one of my two methods. If you use my method here, I got to multiply to negative 30 and add to negative 15. Right? Or negative 13. Sorry. Negative 13. Is it 1 and 30? Is it 2 and 15? It is, right? It's x minus x plus 2 and x minus 15. Yeah? But it's not really 2. What is it really? What's it really? The only reason I know it's 2 is because I multiplied by 3 here. So what do I have to do here? What do I have to do to get rid of this multiplied by 3? I got to divide by 3. What do I got to do here? Divide by 3. Can I simplify that? No. So where does the denominator go? To the front. 3x plus 2. Can I simplify that? What is it? It's 5. Any denominator? So nothing to go to the front. X minus 5. And then I check. 3 times 1, 3. 2 times 5, negative 10. I should use S, not S. Does everybody see? This is very fast, but it requires you to understand what is going on. Guessy checky, you don't got to understand nothing. You just got to keep trying until something works. Right? Your choice. So what am I doing with 3? Look closely at 3. Look closely at 3. What do I need to do first, Sahaj? Right. There's a common factor there, isn't there? And what are we always supposed to try first? GCF. So out comes the 3, and now I've got 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. Now this is nice and easy to work with. What method do you want to use? Guessy checky, decomposition, or there isn't even a name for this. Should we do this one with 2? Okay, no problem. So the 3 is stuck. We're stuck with 3. So this, I know I need to multiply to 6 and add to negative 7, yeah? Just like in the other one I do. So it's 2x squared. What are the factors of 6 that add to negative 7? 6 and 1. So minus 6x minus 1x plus 3. Agreed? Everyone agree? That creates my 2 new binomials. What's the common factor here? 2x. So the 3 we're stuck with. We're stuck with that 3. But this is 2x. And what stayed in there? What's 2x squared divided by 2x? X. What's 6x divided by 2x? Minus 3. What's common here between negative 1x and positive 3? What should come out? What's the number that comes out of everything? 1. But there's a negative here, so what's coming out? So I divide by negative 1. Negative 1, and that gets me, what's negative 1x divided by negative 1? Positive x. What's positive 3 divided by negative 1? Negative 3. And there's your 2 factors, right? Final answer is 2x minus 1. What's outside the brackets? And then x minus 3. What's inside the brackets? You've now seen both methods a bunch of times. All 3 methods a bunch of times. It's time to start making your decision. You don't have to on this page because this page is notes, right? You can still work with all 3. I'm willing to work with any of the 3 all the way down. So what do you want to see for number 4? 1, 2, or 3? We just did a 2. Do you want to do a 3 here? Or do we do guessy checky again? 3? All right. So to do number 3, I don't like this because there's an 8 there. This was multiplied by 8. So what has to happen here? Multiply by 8. What does that get me? Negative 40. And what do I have to add to? Negative 18. Is it 1 and 40? Is it 2 and 20? Yes. I need negative 18, so it's p plus 2 and p minus 20. But the only reason I know it's 2 and 20 is because I multiplied by 8. I haven't gotten rid of that 8 yet. So what do? How do I get rid of times 8? Divide by 8. And then Mrs. Bad Crumble doesn't want that fraction. What is it? 1/4. Mrs. Bad Crumble doesn't want that fraction. What is it? 5/2. What do I do with denominators? To the front. 4p plus 1. 2p minus 5. And can I check? Can I check? Is 4 times 2, 8? Is 1 times negative 5, negative 5? If the ends are right, is the middle right? Yep. Everybody cool? Look at 5. What's tricky? What's going to mess you up with 5? If you forget to do it when you're supposed to always remember to do it. Simplify it first. What is the GCF of 24, 20, and 24? 4. So what comes to the front? 4, leaving me with 6h squared minus 5h minus 6. Right? We're stuck with the 4, but in here, what do you want to do? Decomposition or number 3, which doesn't have a name? Madeline keeps saying number 3. Is everybody happy with number 3? I'm not trying to sell you on number 3. I get no sponsorship money from, the factoring world if you do number 3. It's just what I find the easiest, because there's no guessing, right? It tells you what to do. So what do I need to multiply to? Negative 36, right? Because I got to do 6 times 6. What do I need to add to? Negative 5. Is it 1 and 36? Is it 2 and 18? Is it 3 and 12? Is it 4 and 9? Yes. How? 9 minus 4 or 4 minus 9? 4 minus 9. So it's H plus 4, but it's not really plus 4. What's it really? What bothered me up here? The first 6. So that's what I got to get rid of. And then H minus 9. What bothered me? 6. Would you leave that fraction for Mrs. Bad Crumble? What is it? 2/3. Would you leave that fraction for Mrs. Bad Crumble? What is it? 3/2. What do you do with all the denominators now? 4. 3h plus 2. 2h minus 3. And then I check. Is 3 times 2 6? Yes? Is 2 times negative 3 negative 6? If the ends are right, is the middle right? And I can factor the tough ones. Is everybody good? I have talked for a very long time. It is break in 10 minutes. I want you to try these 3, your choice of method. Go. And then I have a sneaking suspicion I will be moving your quiz to Monday. Do these 3 before break. Go. I want these done before break. Some of you have been working while I've been talking. That's fine. You're probably already done. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the video has all the work for 6, 7, and 8 done number 3 version, number 3 method, because that's the one I like, right? So you'll be able to check it later. I'm going to show you the right answer in a moment when you all have had enough to try it out. But I shouldn't need to show you the right answer, should I? Because you can always check. And if you don't get back to the original, you know you've done it wrong, try it again. Okay? If you finish 6, 7, and 8, we are going to work on page 72, next block for practice, and 73 is your assignment for homework. We will mark it Monday. Okay? And we will quiz Monday. And we will have our test. I might move it to Tuesday. I'm not going to decide that yet. It'll depend on how the quiz goes Monday. Do you want some tape measures?
Not using it for measurement. Well, I'm measuring, but not. I do the lab.
I used to bungee jump on $2 Barbie store, or $2 dollar store Barbies off the rotunda. I would buy half the elastics, they're all the same. You have to have it stretch them all, find their maximum amount of stretch.
Okay.
Find an average, and say, okay, so 3 elastics are giving you a maximum stretch of the dog, you beat the doll. 3 out, 3, so how much the doll stretches, and then guess how many elastics they use to drop Barbie off the third floor and not have her try to step. It was a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work for one thing, right? That's what bugs me. Because kids find it just as cool when I say, okay, 3, 7, 4, 9, 5, 11. They're like, alright, so it's just going up by 2 for everyone. Okay, so what if it goes up by 10 here? Now it'll go forever. They're excited. So what if it goes up by 1 million? So this is going to be up by 2 million. That's all the inquiries you need. Yeah, it's lower up by 2 million. So what did you guys learn from your teacher? What method did you get? Decomposition? Where you split it and then divide out? Yeah, you. What were you doing? Jack, what were you talking about? Decomposition?
Staff, there are still some treats and coffee in the
A box with
Please help
crosses?
yourself. Thank you.
Or a box with squares that go up and down and side to side? But you were taught other ways your teacher just did what I did, said choose what works. Okay, fair enough. Hey, big spender. Look at you. Picnic for all your boys. Nice. Oh, he brings drinks even. Look at this guy. Hey, look what I can do for you. Oh, I didn't even need to. I got a pack of cups right here for you. Yeah, you can have some cups. I can't eat pizza. Because it's made of flour. Filled with the gluten. Try to poison it. Oh, I'll take a little shot of it. Who else needs a cup? You got 4 there?
Yeah.
How many you need? Here, there you go. I would actually be much happier if all you had little cups and had more cups. I'd be start with whatever works for you. Thanks, brother. That is worse. That is a bad word for genitalia. Female genitalia. Yeah. Well, that's a mistake too. It's a cultural thing. I get it. I know. Your families are all up in all your business. I get it. Have another little one. Where'd that come from? Oh, the place right down by the porn shop? Porn? Right down across from 7-Eleven. Like you guys don't know that place is there. It's right beside it. Not my house. That's his place. Hey, that teacher next door says my method does have a name. It's called Slide and Divide. That's a sassy name. I like it.
More like smash and dash.
No. No.
I think the day one, I was like,
finally doing this? I was waiting for you two to do this as Melina left. Like, why is she way over there and you're over here by yourself? But you thought I would get mad? I know your names now. You're Amrit. You're Simran. I got it. Oh. Out of cookies? Finally?
Maybe you'll come back with more cookies.
I bet you will. You seem to have an endless supply. Compost. Not the styrofoam cups. Left. Go left. The other left. There you go. What? Yeah. Ugh. You can put your Coke in my fridge, Parm. You can put your Coke in the fridge if you want. Yeah, I don't care. All right, listen up. There's the right answers. Check your work. Make sure that whatever method you are doing works for you. Remember, 2n plus 1 and n plus 6 is the same thing. The only thing that matters is you have the plus and the minuses in the right spots. Please notice I just used my method as well. You can use anything you want. Oh, and by the way, if you weren't in the class, Mr. MacG next door says that my method does have a name. It's not only got a name, but it is the coolest name of all of them. Slide and divide. Huh? I have no idea. Mr. MacG says it is. I'd never heard it have a name before ever. So now it's got a name. Slide and divide, which sounds badass. All right, everybody good? Everybody good? All right, so your job right now is to do all of page 72. Now, please notice, about halfway down page 72, I throw in some of the other kinds of factoring. Yeah? Okay. When you finish page 72, so in half an hour from now, I want to go over 72. After that, page 73 is your assignment for marks. Now listen to me. There is no review for this unit because we did so many assignments. Okay? There's no review. Monday morning, we're going to mark page 73. We'll do our quiz. And then we might do the polynomial test last block Monday still. I don't want to start mixing up too much because if I move it to Tuesday, we're going to do like 3/4 of a unit before you do the test. And I don't want to do that either. I want to do it Monday, but I don't think we'll be doing it second block. It'll be more likely last block. Okay? Okay. Go.